is an idiot. If we're creating a fighter in the UFC video game, there is 0 stats in fight IQ for this dumbass. 0. You know where all the stats went to? Ballet. Because this dude's spinning every 2 seconds. Oh my God, I can't stand it. This dude's swinging at air. If you're playing baseball, he's 0 for 18 at his last 18 at-bats. Didn't hit a goddamn thing, and he just keeps spinning. Oh my Lord. He goes to the corner. His corner said, hey, can we stop this spinning shit? The moment the next round starts, first strike he throws. Spin. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode here on Locked Door MMA. We're your hosts. I'm Brevin. This is my good buddy, JP. And in today's episode, we will be breaking down and giving our prediction for every single fight, UFC Fight Night, Strickland versus Hernandez. But before we do, just want to give a quick shout out to you guys as our current viewers, our current subscribers. We appreciate you being a part of the Locked Door MMA community. And if you guys haven't already, make sure to smack that subscribe button to join the best UFC predictors in the world every single weekend for our predictions. You don't want to miss out. Before we dive into this weekend's card, though, JP, I know we had a little bit of a break, but last card that we witnessed, it was a really good card. Why don't you take us through some of those outcomes before we dive into this one?
Yeah, pretty decent little fight night. I think Bautista kind of, I don't know if people still hate him as much as they did after the Jose Aldo fight, but I think he kind of showed levels of where he's at. That was a big win in my eyes for him. Kyoji Horiguchi looks elite. Okay, everybody knows his only loss in the UFC comes to Demetrius Johnson. He sure as hell looks like it because that dude looks on fire right now. Jailton Almeida's been cut. That's crazy work. I know I'm forgetting who else it was. There was a couple other fighters that were cut, but that was nuts. The Barry Oleg Zaychuk fight, that was crazy. Haymakers, they were throwing bombs. Both of them. We said Barry Olt doesn't have a chin. Yeah, maybe he still does. Okay, because they were slanging and banging. That's for sure. Havid Bashrat, that's who it was. That was the other one. Havid Bashrat has been cut as well. Crazy stuff. Julius Walker sucks.
After a win.
Yeah, after a win. With a winning UFC record. I think he's like 5-2, or that might be too much, something like that. And they cut his ass. So that's just crazy. Crazy stuff. Our lock hit, Donchenko, didn't get the KO. Perfectly fine, though. I thought he looked pretty good. You know, you beat the shit out of somebody so much in round 1. We see it all the time. We were actually talking about this before we started filming about this fight card about somebody. But we see people gas out after that, and then they get their ass beat and lose. Donchenko didn't. I mean, he gassed out, but he didn't get his ass beat to where he then lost the fight, right? He gassed out and then stayed technical, still kicked his ass for the rest of the fight, just couldn't get the stoppage. But good week. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Brevin, everything hit. So we had a first show of the year where everything hits. Juicer hit, basic hit, lock hit. I hit, Brevin.
Yeah, let's talk about the juicer, right? The juicer was avoiding us for a long time. The juicer is back in play. Hopefully you guys were tailing it because my, oh my, got it done. Yeah, everything hit, the lock hit, basic hit. It was a good weekend for your boys. We went 10-3 on the card overall. And we look to continue with that success moving into this card. So, JP, I think that moves us perfectly into the first fight for UFC Fight Night, Strickland versus Hernandez in Houston, Texas. We're going to start with a women's fight here. Harley Judice is taking on Juliana Miller to kick us off.
Out in Hurston. I'm excited for this one, man. I think this is a good little fight night card. And then we're 9 weeks straight, okay? So get ready, buckle in, lock in. Okay, you boys are locked in. No football. Basketball is getting close to playoffs, but 9 weeks straight, we are absolutely locked in. First fight of the night, and I do think it's a squash match. We're taking Judice. I don't think it's a surprise to anybody. I think most people are taking Judice unless you personally know Miller. But Juliana's super slow on the feet. I mean, just the speed difference is going to be night and day when you watch this. And I like Carly's resume, right? Carly's resume really isn't that bad. The Karashketa fight on Contender Series, super close. She could have won that one. The Gabriela Fernandez fight, super close. She was the girl who stopped Wang Gang, and everybody was all hyping her up now. Super close fight with her. And then she knocks out Smoking Doobies, which that was a fight everybody for some reason was on Double D Doobies. Why, we have no idea. Maybe that was a reason why. But yeah, she sucks. And then Cagliari, Cagliari's a short little stalked Brazilian girl. Okay, she's actually pretty decent. But squash match, I think Judice pieces her up. We'll see if Miller's tough. She might get her out of there. She might not, but probably Judice all the way.
Yeah, 1,000%. I think it's going to be a good showing for her. Obviously, she's a big favorite, but that's just to JP's point. Like, if you're not backing her, you must know Juliana Miller in person. She's not the most skilled fighter out there. Similar, or they have very similar ranks right now, but I think after Saturday, we really see that there's levels to this division, and Judice is really going to take that step forward inside of this 125 women's division here. So, yeah, give us Judice. I feel good about that one for sure.
100%. Also, we forgot to mention, let us know down in the comments. How does everything sound? Okay, we're back for our old ways of audio issues. All right, good thing we had a break last week because my mic decided to kick the bucket for one reason or another. So hopefully we sound good. Let us know how that sounds in the comments. All right, next one, the return of a man who is a part of a lot of controversy last year, but probably to no fault of his own that we know of. I haven't heard anything about the investigation, Revan. I don't know if you have, but Yadier de Valle going up against Jordan Leavitt.
No, anytime the FBI is involved, JP, I'm pretty sure it's safe to assume that we're not going to find out a lot of information. They're going to keep that stuff under
True.
wraps about the case and the details with it. But Yadier Del Valle taking on Jordan Leavitt. Pretty good matchup here. Differing styles. Yadier is a pressure fighter. He's got big power. He throws really hard. He can wrestle a little bit and grapple, but Leavitt is really just known for his grappling, right? He's very slick on the ground and pretty skilled there. However, I think in this one, he's going to be kind of on his back foot a lot, which is not a great place to be against Yadier, who's going to put the pressure on you, back you up against the cage, and land absolute bombs. I feel really good about this matchup here for Yadier Del Valle, so we will be taking him. I just expect him to press forward and really put it on Leavitt, and Leavitt's going to hope that they go to the ground and he finds himself in a favorable position, because outside of that, I do think Del Valle holds the advantage in all areas. And before we move on, I also got a new mic. So let me know in the comments how my mic sounds. All right. JP had to get a new mic. I invested in a new one. We're trying to upgrade the studio for you guys, our viewers, make the viewing experience even better. But give us Yadier de Valle to get it done. And hopefully he can fund new equipment and more equipment for the studio room.
Hey. Watch these lines. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. Any weird
That's
shit.
right.
um, yeah, I mean Jordan Leavitt's all right. He's not terrible. I do not like his striking. It's very awkward, very, I mean, zesty. I don't know if I can say that. um, but yeah, I don't know. He's a decent grappler, but then when he gets put up against other decent high level grapplers, he just gets outclassed. It's a weird situation. But Yadier, I mean, if you look at, and I understand he hasn't had many UFC fights, so the stats are probably inflated, but he's landing 6 strikes per minute. So he's throwing out volume. And then he's almost attempting 4 submissions, right? Which is crazy. Like, he's not just, we're not just on the ground jailting Almeida the whole time, right? We're not just controlling the wrist and just laying on you, dry humping you like a teenager, right? We're actually trying to search for something, get stoppages. So, yeah, we're taking De Valle. You can bet on it however you want. I'm personally going to stay away from it. But do you?
Well, let's just say if you are betting on it, probably safe to be on the Valle side. Who knows if his camp has anything to do with the the rigness of these outcomes. But moving up, we have Jean Paul Lebosnoyani. Take it on. Phil Rowe on short notice.
On short notice. This is probably gonna be a decent scrap. Okay. Jean Paul, JP, my guy. You know, we gotta stick together, us JPs. And fun fact, every time somebody's like, hey, is JP your real name? Or does it stand for something? No, it stands for something. Everybody's first guess is always Jean Paul. Literally every time. But this dude is nasty. Okay. You're gonna love the way he fights if you haven't seen him fight. He's super well rounded, super technical. You can tell that he works on his craft. He really cares about his game because he can really do it all. You put him on his back, he's searching for subs. You try and take him down, he's sprawling stuff in the head. If you're on the feet with him, he will mix it up beautifully. In the clinch, he rolls with it. Early boxing, gorgeous. His leg kicks. Um, Brevin said he's been doing MMA since he was like really young. I know Brevin will probably touch more on that. But the one thing that you'll notice is obviously the size difference. Phil Rowe is fucking huge, right? But like Brevin said, short notice. Has he been in camp? Has he not? Jean Paul probably has. And who was he supposed to fight before this? Vanderford.
Like, yep.
So that's another positive in my eyes because everybody knows Phil Rowe is a grappling guy, right? A guy who isn't necessarily going to search to get up. He's going to search for submissions. He's long as shit. Say it all the time. These long arms, good for chokes, good for arm bars, shit like that. Jean Paul's probably ready for a wrestler, but Phil's not really going to do that. So I don't think he's too worried about the grappling. But like I was saying about the size difference, you might be worried about that because they're long. It's hard to get in. We've seen Phil Rowe fight, what, 3 times now, Brevin, on the show?
At least.
This
Yeah.
dude does not use his length at all. It's like having a baseball bat in a zombie apocalypse. And then you're just pulling out your little switchblade knife and stabbing them as they get close. You're not even using the baseball bat. He doesn't use it at all. He gets hit a lot. And I was on the Phil Rowe side, right? This is before me and Brevin switched to we're doing the same pick. He was on Losa. I was on Phil Rowe. And it was like night and day. We were watching it. Losa was beating his ass. And Brevin was like, yeah, this is exactly what I thought was going to happen. Then Losa fucking gasses out these big, brawly dudes and then gets fingered in the eye and posted on the face. And then Phil Rowe just starts teeing off. But he was getting hit a lot in that fight. He gets hit a lot in the Jake Matthews fight. Every single fight he has. We're taking Jean Paul. Very well rounded. Has more ways to win. Phil Rowe, just on short notice. He's a hard guy to trust. He just really is. If you're going to pick him or bet him, it's always a sweat. Give us JP.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think you said it really well. I think Phil Rowe is really one of these guys that, like, yes, he's good for the organization. He accepts fights on short notice, and he stands in there and fights. He doesn't run, but I think that's kind of the problem. His distance management is not the best. Oftentimes he'll find himself flat-footed, getting hit with punches. And the other thing that I have a problem with, if you guys watch the show, I really pay attention to the volume. Phil Rowe's not a volume guy. Like, he's comfortable just kind of sitting there, you know, going tit for tat, really just responding and not being the aggressor in a lot of his matchups. And I think that gets him into a lot of trouble. He could be very good if he just initiated some of these exchanges. He's long. He's got, with the length comes good power. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done from the Phil Rose side. But yeah, Jean Paul, like JP was alluding to, son of legendary MMA coach Nono Lebosnoyani. All right. He was the student of jiu-jitsu pioneer Helio Gracie, and then ended up coaching Hoist Gracie. If you guys are familiar with the sport of the UFC, surely that you've heard of the name Hoist Gracie. These are like the founders of jiu-jitsu, okay? He is the son of Hoist Gracie's coach, basically. Okay, so by the time he was born, this dude was on the mats, he was grappling, he was learning jiu-jitsu. Now, he is a very, very polished jiu-jitsu practitioner. He is a dangerous grappler. A lot of people don't even have to see that side of his game though, because he's got good power. He's got great boxing. He's got really good hands. So I think really in all phases of this fight, Jean Paul holds the advantage. And I think you're going to see that on display on Saturday. And if it does go down to the ground, JP, watch out for John Paul's grappling prowess to really take over and win him that fight as well.
100%, dude. And if you, I know there's a lot of new people, new eyes on the sport. If you want to watch gorgeous technique, like, I just don't know how else to explain it. It's technique that everybody should look at. This is what you're striving for if you want to get into MMA. Jean Paul's one of them, and then another guy later on this card is one of them with a certain mixed martial art. But Jean Paul's technique with everything, like you're saying, very gorgeous to watch. Watching film on him is a very enjoyable process. All right. Next one, moving up. This one, I'm excited for this one. This might be a scrap right here. Ramiz Brahimaj returns to take on Puna Hele Soriano.
Yeah, this should be a good matchup. Both these guys are surging. Brahimaj, I believe it's what, a 3-fight win streak now, maybe even more. Yes, 3-fight win streak. He looked very good against Mickey Gall, showing off the power. Then got a guillotine choke in his next too. Like that is what he does really well. If someone shoots in on a takedown, he'll lock out that guillotine and make it very, very uncomfortable for people. Puna, he's a good striker. He's also a good wrestler, right? So he carries a lot of power, and ever since moving up to welterweight, he's also been on a win streak himself, racking off the last 3 fights with W. So this should be a really interesting matchup between the two of them because they have such different skill sets, in my opinion. Both carry good power, but Brahimaj is going to be the defensive grappler, while I believe Puna is going to be the offensive wrestler. However, I think this one really kind of stays away from the ground, if you ask me. Both these guys are open to brawling, and I think Puna's going to carry that big power advantage and probably put the lights out of Ramiz Brahimaj. I like Puna a lot, so we're taking Puna Hele Soriano to get the job done. I just think he really kind of outclasses Brahimaj at all 3 phases of the fight game.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. We were beating some arcs ass. Okay, we were on Arc Raiders. We were talking about this fight. So you lean Brahimaj, you lean Puna. What are you feeling? We're both like, I don't know. Brahimaj kind of on a tear right now. We'll have to see. Both of us went our separate ways. Went and watched more film. Came back today. Didn't even have to talk about it. We're like, hey,
Went back to Speranza.
went back to Speranza. Said, hey, before we start slanging arc around, how you feeling? We both said, not gonna lie, I like Puna dog money. Puna Hele dog money. I do not. Brahimaj, yes, you have a great guillotine. And I know we talk about this jumping gilly. Dustin Poirier made that famous and shit. But you see it more often than not. When you don't get it, you're on your back too much. You're just on your back too much. Brahimaj does not sprawl, which is fine because he considers himself probably a pretty nasty submission artist, which he is. His choke game is very good. But Puna in the Varatinikov fight, Varatinikov put up like fucking 5 guillotine attempts. Were some of them as good as Brahimaj's? Maybe not. Maybe. I don't really care. That's not what I'm debating. Some of them were deep as shit, though. Puna's doesn't freak out, doesn't struggle, doesn't quick tap because, oh my God, I'm out. No, he sits there. He's calm. He crosses their body and drops them. So he's laying across their body. So you're not on the same fucking side. All right, you don't let them wrap their legs around you. He's either in half guard or he's laying across their body. And then he just lets you sit there and squeeze your arms. And Vanderford was doing a great job of out-grappling Brahimaj. Brahimaj was just on his back. He doesn't sprawl. He doesn't rush to get up. And I think it's because he's looking for the choke game, like Phil Rowe kind of. You're looking for a lot of subs. At some point, you're going to come up against somebody who's doing a good enough job. If you're not going to get it, you're on your back quite a bit. And then Brevin brought up a great point earlier. If you watch Brahimaj fights, the longer they go, honestly, the worse he looks. He doesn't throw a lot of volume. He has a lot of fights in the UFC. I think he's got like 5, something like that. He only lands just over 2 strikes per minute. That's not a lot of volume. Puna lands just under 5. I'd take that. And like Brevin said, Puna's got power. Brahimaj does too, but we like Puna's stand-up way better. I don't like Brahimaj's looping stuff. I just don't think it's as good. And he doesn't have as much volume. I don't know. He's been on a tear, sure, but so is Puna. And I don't think Puna's going to be worried about these guillotines. And if you don't get it, if he gets it, he gets it. Cool. 3rd win in a row by guillotine. Crazy. He's on a tear. I'll live with that versus if he doesn't get it and he's just on his back and now you're sitting on the couch pissed because he won't fucking sprawl and he keeps jumping for Gilly. Give us Puna.
Yeah, 1000%. Well said. All right, that takes us to the next fight. We have another women's fight and actually a rematch. These two women have seen each other in the past. Nora Cornolle taking on Jocelyn Edwards.
Um, yeah, we weren't doing the show. This was a couple years before the show, wasn't it? The first time they fought.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've had our fair share of the French screw job, if you will. Joe Anderson Brito getting screwed. We've had a bunch of robberies. They fought in France. Nora Cornhole is from France. They gave her 30-27. Two of the judges did. Go watch that fight back. Horrendous. That is don't like that. I do think it, which she still could have won the fight. There's an argument for her to win. 30-27 on two scorecards is just blatant stupidity in my eyes. But Jocelyn, in their first fight, I think looked good, but her fight IQ was fucking horrible. And it's that typical case of you take him down, you got good position, let's do a little bit of ground and pound, wear him out, and then you're going to jump for a submission that's not even there. You're not trying to work towards it. You lose positioning, you get bucked up or sweeped. Now you're on your back. It's their home crowd, so the crowd's going fucking nuts over nothing. And I just think it was terrible. I think her fight IQ is probably going to be much better. And if you're asking us, we think she's taken way more strides since then than Nora has. We still think Nora's, granted, she just submitted a girl, but Haley Cowan, are you holding that in high regard? We're not. We think Jocelyn, I mean, she's gotten a couple KOs since then, and striking wasn't even her strength, right? It was her grappling. I mean, she's got big ass fucking legs. Strong as shit. This time, if you take her down, don't jump for something that's not there. Work towards it. Beat her up a little bit. Wear her down because Nora's just a Muay Thai stand-up fighter. We're taking Jocelyn Edwards. She should win it on the scorecards. You just can't be stupid.
Yeah, 1000%. I think really, if you go back and look at that first fight, there's a lot of positions where Jocelyn has the advantage and then she just makes a mistake, right? And we see that a lot with some of these matchups. And honestly, that's the difference between winning and losing fights. But when you get the opportunity at a rematch, it's also good to know that that individual was the one in control. They had the most dominant positions. They just made some simple mistakes that either gave up the position or cost them the chance at a submission. I think in this rematch, she's going to make sure that she cleans up a lot of those and then finds either the submission or just that dominant position and keeps it. And so I do think this is going to be a different matchup. Obviously, both of these women have, grown, fought different girls, developed their skills. Keep in mind, this fight took place in 2023. So now that's 3 years ago, roughly. Um, things change. It's not necessarily like your Diego Lopez and Volkanovski rematch, right? Where it just happens so quickly. But these two girls, different fighters now, but I do think Jocelyn Edwards still holds the advantage. Give us Jocelyn Edwards. I feel good about that one. All right. That takes us up to the next fight. Alden Coria versus Louis Gurule. I can't pronounce his name. Guru, who knows? MMA Guru, are you related to this guy? I don't know. Um, another interesting little matchup here at the in the flyweight division, right? Like both these guys, very quick, very fast, small little guys, but Coria is going to have a little size advantage. Gurul he's a good wrestler. He puts pressure on guys. He's supposed to walk people down and wrestle. Sometimes he does that well, sometimes not so much. And in this matchup, I do think Coria's got the abilities to really kind of keep Louis off of him. One thing that he does quite well, similar to Brahimaj, where he will threaten the guillotine, but he utilizes it to get up and stuff takedowns, which I like. I don't like when guys fully commit to the guillotine all the time. Like if it's there, it's there. If it's not, utilize it to get back up to your feet. And I think he does that really well. He's got good hands, he's got good kicks, and I think really the volume for Coria is going to be there for him as well. So give me Alden Coria to get the job done. I just think he's the better fighter.
Yeah, we think he's going to piece him up on the feet. Honestly, we love his volume. And like Brevin saying, threatening with that guillotine. The moment they go defensive, boom, you're shooting right back up. Circling out, something like that. this is when I think stats on the ESPN page are funny because I've talked about stats a couple times this show. You get some guys who live and die by the stats. If you don't understand how many fights someone's had in the UFC, and the stats can kind of look ridiculous, because Coria's takedown accuracy is 100%. Gurule, who is the Greco-Roman champion, this and that, bunch of accolades, Greco-Roman wrestler, his is 9% of a takedown accuracy. Okay. So that's just funny to look at. But yeah, Coria, he is on a 5-fight win streak. I don't want to hear anything about, oh, there's a no contest. He knocked the dude out and it got overturned because he had marijuana in his system. We're in a fist fight and we're worried about marijuana. We're overturning shit for marijuana. Who cares? You got knocked out, dude. And his combinations are gorgeous. He's going to have to keep his hands up a little bit because Gurule can hit a home run shot with his power. He's a stocky little dude. But, I mean, the naked kicks that Gurule throws, which got him in trouble with Ode. He's standing there pawing some whack-ass jab out, goes to throw a kick, and Ode just sat down on a nasty straight left, put him down. He's going to be at a speed disadvantage again. I mean, yeah, I think this is a Alden Coria masterclass. Should be written all over it.
Yeah, 1,000%. I think the one thing that I forgot to mention, like you said, JP, was that speed disadvantage that Louis oftentimes finds himself in. Like he really can't string together fast punches or combinations to really kind of put that pressure on guys that he needs to end up wrestling. Like you've got to chain wrestle off of your combinations. He just kind of throws out the 1-2s and the jabs, and it just doesn't close distance very well. All right. That takes us up to another fight here in the flyweight division. We've got Ode Osbourne taking on Alibi Idiris.
Speaking of Ode, yeah, Ode is so strange. He's a strange one to look at, especially his resume, right? Because you look at it, 13-9, you're like, that is disgusting, which I don't blame you. It is pretty gross. You look at his last 5 fights, and he's what, 1-4? Yeah. Because he slumped Gurule, right? But he's fighting good competition. Steve Erceg, Ronaldo Rodriguez. He arguably could have won that, maybe sold. You guys know how you feel about Ronaldo. We think he's an idiot. Rafael Filho, high-level grappler right there. Super high-level grappler.
Mhm.
And then Asu Amabayev, another high-level grappler. Some people are probably picking Alibi because he trains with Asu. You're like, oh, they're both decent grapplers. They both... I'm not even going to say that joke. I don't know if that would have got us in trouble. Glad I stopped myself. But yeah, all right. Call it a biased pick. Call it whatever you want. I mean, people normally say we have 1 or 2 of those a card. We're taking Ode Osbourne dog money. How is Ode a dog? He has way more UFC experience. He's going to be so much faster, a lot longer. And Alibi is an idiot. He is an idiot. If we're creating a fighter in the UFC video game, there is 0 stats in fight IQ for this dumbass. 0. You know where all the stats went to? Ballet. Because this dude's spinning every 2 seconds. Oh my God, I can't stand it. This dude's swinging at air. If you're playing baseball, he's 0 for 18 at his last 18 at-bats. Didn't hit a goddamn thing, and he just keeps spinning. Oh my Lord. He goes to the corner. His corner said, hey, can we stop this spinning shit? The moment the next round starts, first strike he throws. Spin. What are we doing? What are we doing? And everybody's like, oh, he trains with Asu. He's a grappler. He shot 1 takedown and then got choked out in a triangle and tapped immediately quick. Didn't defend the triangle. Nothing. He's on top of the dude. Dude's grabbing his wrist, pulling his leg over. Maybe you're so tired because you keep fucking spinning around. I mean, put a tutu on the guy. You can put a tutu on him and put a pillow on the ground because he's going night-night. Give us Ode Osbourne, dog money.
Yeah, man. I like you said, and that was in the finale of The Ultimate Fighter, you know. So I do think there was probably some nerves that went into that fight. Like he didn't look like himself. I have watched him on the entire season of The Ultimate Fighter. He really didn't look like the Alibi that was present in a lot of those other fights. However, based off of what we saw, that's all we can go off of right now, right? Like it just didn't look like he had a good game plan. It didn't look like he was well coached. And maybe he was well coached because they were telling him to stop spinning. He wasn't listening to his coaches, and I don't like that. I really don't. For Ode Osbourne, short, he has his moments, right? Up and down and up and down. Sometimes he looks great, like a world beater. He's got crazy KO power, and sometimes, he can find those submissions and he's athletic and all these things. And other times he's getting slumped and beat like really quickly, and it just isn't a good showing. But there's a reason that this dude's still in the UFC. He's fun to watch. He brings a lot of excitement to this division. He's fighting high level guys, like JP said. The Steve Ursay loss. Who cares? That's a great fighter, right? They're not giving a Levy Steve Ursay right out the gates. Okay. But for Ode Osbourne, a lot of UFC experience, very, very skilled. And I think like JP said, if Olivi's gonna stand out there and spin with Ode Osbourne, I was saying before we started filming, I feel like Olivi was trying to be Ode Osbourne in his previous matchup. So in this one, I don't think he can out Ode. Give me Ode Osbourne. I just think he gets it done.
Ode.
It's fun to say.
Yeah, and I hope he slumps him. Because when he slumps him, I'm gonna stand up and scream at the TV, "Get fucking O'Dayed." Okay, I cannot stand it. And then your corner's screaming at you, "Stop spinning." And then you go out there and do it again. Oh my god. All right, moving up. Very excited for this next fight. This is probably one of the ones I'm most anticipating on this card. Chidi Bang Bang Njokuani going up against, is he juiced? Is he not? The back acne went away rather quick. I'm just saying. Carlos Leal.
Yeah, they definitely had to treat that back acne sooner rather than later. I mean, it was pretty apparent that there were some things being injected into that body of his. But either way, you guys know we're big fans of Carlos Leal. Like he does a really good job pressing forward, throwing big shots. He's got good striking, right? The one downside to his game is I feel like he's simply just a striker, and that's okay. There's a lot of good strikers in the UFC. Um, but he keeps his chin up in the air a lot. And that's what I don't like, right? Like if you're winging punches from the hip and you got your chin just on a silver platter, I'm gonna tell you right now, Chidi and Njokuani is gonna take advantage of that. All right. Chidi's the guy that you do not want to do that against. He's very tall for this division. He has very long arms and he throws straight punches. And that's what JP and I try to tell you guys about a lot of these fighters is if you just change up your approach, especially against someone with the style of Carlos Leal, you're going to find a lot more success. All you got to do is straighten out some of these punches. It's going to find the chin. And Chidi's the guy that, yeah, once he hits you clean, you're going to be wobbled or you're going to be out, right? Like there's really no in between. I do like Chidi here a lot. We don't have to worry about the threat of the takedown or the threat of the submission. That's kind of where Chidi struggles a lot of the times. Um, but in this one, I do think it's going to be a stand up battle. And, you know, differing from Phil Rowe, Chidi actually utilizes his size and his length really well. He can manage distance. He has nasty knees. If they get in the clinch, he throws elbows, he throws knees up the middle. And I think it's going to pose a lot of problems for Carlos Leal. So give us Chidi and Njokuani to get it done. I feel really good about this fight. Another dog call for you guys. So all the people that always hate on us every single week about all the favorites we pick, where are you at now? I want to hear from you in the comments. Another dog, and we're making good money this weekend.
Yeah, and then these TikTok kids are just, oh my god. Yeah, I was telling you guys earlier, if you want to watch extremely good technique and basically learn what it looks like and shit, watch Jean Paul. If you want picture perfect Muay Thai, Chidi is the fighter for you. Chidi Bang Bang is just, oh my god, his movement. He's not moving big. He's not moving a lot. He's keeping his weight on his back foot. That front foot's up. If you want to watch how to kickboxing, watch Chidi. Like Brevin said, in the clinch, he frames perfectly. He'll elbow you with his right elbow, that back elbow with a lot of power. His fucking knees in the tie clinch are disgusting. He immediately gets to that tie clinch and he'll start snapping down on your neck. Kicking from range, Brevin knows how big of an advocate I am for the teep kick. I love a good teep kick. Chidi will throw like 5 in the span of like 20 seconds. And he'll just keep you at range, keep you at range. And then he'll throw a leg kick, and then he'll go up to the head. It's gorgeous to watch. And then, like he said, straight punches. Everything about Chidi's stand-up, I love. If you're going to beat Chidi, it's going to be by taking him down. Because like Brevin said, you cannot sit at range. Sit at range, you're just a sitting duck. And people do take him down. Will Carlos Leal do that? No. I guarantee you he will not. Carlos is going to walk forward. Not necessarily walk. He's kind of got a little wide stance a little bit, and he'll take his time. But he's going to wing everything from the hip. He'll throw a couple, like 1 out of every 9 shots will be straight. But everything else is going to come from the hip. He leans back a lot and throws from the hip. He likes to throw with you, which I do like. I don't like waiting too much. I like when they throw, you get out of the way the first one and then throw with them. But Carlos, even in the Morono fight, well, I understand he beat the shit out of Morono. Morono was still landing. And Morono was coming from way out here, Timbuktu. You know, wherever his family's from, because we'll leave that there. But I'm not a fan. Because, like Brevin said, your chin's way out there. Just waiting for somebody. And just because you haven't got knocked out doesn't mean you can't. And then Muslim Salikov, another guy who fights outside the U.S. and looks like fucking Superman. Just saying. Slumps him. Right? Could he knock out Chidi? Sure. The weight cut, I'm not going to lie, I am worried about. Chidi has a problem. He already said he does not like cutting to 170, and he still does it. But we are taking Chidi dog money. We think he can slump him, keep him at range. This is probably going to be a firefight. Fight doesn't go distance. Either guy to win by KO, whatever side you're on. I think it's up there, but we're taking dog money again.
Yeah, 1,000%. I just think this is one of those matchups. Like, if you're Carlos Leal and you're trying to blitz in with your size compared to Cheaties, he's going to eat a straight punch right on the chin, get his lights turned out. I do think that's the result that we see. But let's move up to the main card. Speaking of tall fighters, we have another one here in Zachary Reese taking on Michel Pereira.
Oh, sweet Lord. What did we used to call it? The poop bowl?
Yeah.
Back when we had our the wraparound mic on our head and shit. Um, talk about audio problems. My God. Yeah.
We really came from the bottom, man.
Jesus, dude. You go back and listen to it too. I'm like, fuck. No wonder nobody watched it. um, if you are betting money on this card, just sit this fight out. I mean, you could bet on like fight doesn't go distance, maybe. Hey, there's an option. But even that, you never know. Both of these guys are notorious for selling. They just are. Michel Pereira is another ballerina. I don't know how to explain it. Sure, he's entertaining to watch. He'll do a backflip for absolutely no reason that does no damage at all. He'll lick his hand and then smack somebody. He'll jump off the cage, run, sprint, do a cartwheel, somersault, teabag somebody, and maybe land 1 strike in that whole process. And then you get to the second round and third round, and he'll gas out. It's like clockwork. Zach Reese will hold on to a armbar that's not there, wasn't ever there, and then get picked up about 6 feet in the air and still won't let it go, and then get slumped by Cody Controversy Brundage. I don't know. Don't really know. If we were one of the cherry picking people who cherry picks our predictions and then says we had a perfect card prediction, whatever, we probably wouldn't pick this fight. We got to pick every single fight. We're taking Zach Reese. We think the length will be there. Michel Pereira, if he doesn't win in the first round, second round early by some crazy shit, he normally gasses out and loses a decision and doesn't look good. And Zach Reese, like I said, has got the size. We're taking Zach Reese. We're not betting on it. We're not doing any of this. I understand he's dog money. Not touching.
Yeah, it's an interesting fight, guys. And JP said it. Like, both of these guys, I mean, this isn't the poop bowl. It's probably the choke bowl. Like, one of them will be having success in the first round and then absolutely sell the entire rest of the fight. Who that is, we don't really know. I do like Zachary Reese's size. I also like the fact that he is a Texas native. Like this is his hometown. He will have a lot of fans in the crowd. Maybe he's a little more amped up and is training a little bit harder, knowing that. And that's kind of what's giving us the edge right now, with Zachary Reese. I think he is skilled. The other thing too is he's on a little win streak. Granted, not as good of opponents as Pereira's been fighting, but Pereira's been on a little losing streak. So I think there's a little something to it as far as a confidence level. Maybe Pereira's a little less, you know, maybe he's a little more antsy about getting knocked out or a little less aggressive, and then that just equates to a really poor performance from him. But I do believe Zachary Reese has the skill set necessary to get the job done and at least win a decision. They're both kind of just mid at a lot of stuff. Zach's got decent power. I guess Pereira has shown he's got some power too. Usually in the way of kicks, head kicks or wild stuff, jumping off the cage. But yeah, Zachary Reese, dog money. I would stay away from it if I was you guys. But that's the other thing too. And I'm glad JP brought it up because I might go on a little bit of a tangent. I'll try my best not to. But guys, slap a like on the video for your boys always predicting every single fight on these cards. Like, we're not cherry picking fights. And I can't stand the people out there that are like just only picking 8 fights when there's 13 fights and then claiming they had a perfect card. Like, get out of here. We're actually going to bring you our real predictions for every freaking fight that happens. That's as it should be. We're not here to cherry pick or like boost our record or any of that stuff. So make sure to like the video, comment down below, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's just ridiculous that people do that. We're not going to do that. We're your boys. We're picking every fight. But give me Zachary Reese. All right.
I mean, yeah, whatever. Everything's transparent. All the records are there. You guys can see everything. All the research can be done. Our records always 100% fully out there for everybody to see. All right. Moving up after the choke bowl, the stocky wrestler bowl. The steroid bowl. Maybe this one. I don't know. Jacoby Smith is taking on short notice. I was excited for his original scheduled fight versus Co, but Co pulled out. Jacoby Smith is taking on the muscle hamster Josiah Harrell.
Yeah. Interesting matchup. Short nose for Harrell. He's really one of these guys that like he's hard to get a read on. He's got a few fights in the LFA, right? He's 2-0. Before that it was like the combat league and like he looks good in those matchups, but you really always kind of question the level of competition. Now, some of these guys that he is beating or at least he beat in the LFA had pretty good records, right? Like they weren't guys that were just showing up for their first fight ever. But at the end of the day, I think he's really got his hands full in this matchup with Jacoby Smith. Jacoby Smith is a very like accolade. He has a lot of accolades in wrestling. He's a good wrestler. And he's got good power in his hands. You can really kind of see that transition from just being a wrestler to mixed martial arts and utilizing your strikes and your kicking to set up some of the wrestling and the grappling. And I think really Josiah's kind of has the same game plan, but um he's not as good at it, right? And it's as simple as that. I think for Jacoby, I think the size is going to give him an advantage as well. Sure, Josiah is the muscle hamster, but Jacoby's yoked too. All right, he's a stocky dude. He's really well built, absolutely ripped. And I think he's got the better experience at this point, the UFC experience. So give us Jacoby Smith to get the job done.
Yeah, guys, and honestly, this might be a scrap. This might be a good little scrap because, like Brevin said, this is pretty much the exact same style, and both dudes are yoked. Jacoby's just bigger. So if you're asking me who's gonna win when one guy's bigger and has more UFC experience, but they do the exact same thing virtually, you got to go with Smith. This Josiah kid might have something though. I saw some of his film. He went for a double leg takedown and literally ran right through the cage door with a guy, and it broke the door, and they ended up in the crowd. That's fucking crazy. Um, I didn't realize this dude has apparently had brain surgery. He's got a scar all the way up side of his head. He had brain disease, I guess. This dude's story is nuts. So we'll have to see if he comes out here and puts on a show and beats Jacoby, finishes Jacoby possibly. hey, now we might have something, but yeah. I mean, other than that, we don't have a lot of film to go off of. Pretty similar guy. Got to take Jacoby.
1,000%. And like, let's not forget that Jacoby Smith was like a minus 1,200 favorite against Nico. And in the fight before, I think it was a very similar story. This is probably the best line that you're going to find on Jacoby Smith, maybe all year. Honestly, the dude is a killer. If he goes out there and like slumps Josiah in the first round, slams him, ground and pound, what have you, his line's just gonna keep inflating every single time he fights, but, yeah, I just like the, athleticism and the pure size from Jacoby Smith in this division.
You know what? I know, yeah, the props probably aren't out yet, but I don't know what the KO line's gonna be. But Ateba going to decision, Donchenko going to decision. Kind of wonder. I want to see what Jacoby Smith by decision, what that line's gonna be.
You see, that's interesting. I don't think it would be as juice given, like, the wrestling, there's
True.
times that those wrestling exchanges can kinda lengthen out rounds, right, and really kind of, eat up some clock, but I would take a look at the KO line, honestly. I don't know if, what that would be. I think Jacoby can probably knock out Josiah, with the way that he throws. I mean, the guy throws everything into all of his shots. I do want worry about the cardio a little bit, make sure Jacoby has the gas, but I think he can get it done. Alright, that moves us up to the big boys. Sergey Spivac is taking on Ante Delija.
Sergey. Come here,
Sergey.
Sergey. Um, yeah, man. We'll keep it short and sweet for the thick boys. And I didn't even. I'm not anymore. I just reminded myself of a yap topic, and now I'm gonna yap. Have you seen what's going on with Tom?
I mean, I saw the pictures after his eye surgery. I haven't seen anything more.
Apparently, they. I don't know if it's true. Again, you see all these fucking pages. God forbid you don't see a football page talk about Max Crosby getting traded. My God. You see all these pages with news of this and that. Apparently, the UFC asked him to vacate, and people are saying that he told them he would if they released him so he can box.
Oh my god.
I don't know how true it is. So I took it with a grain of salt. I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, the
You know what that means, right?
we're fucked.
No, it means John Jones
Is fighting
is your
arthritis.
heavyweight champion.
um, yeah, I guess I don't know. I don't know, but im-
The White House card, John Jones versus arthritis.
um, hey, that'd be a crazy storyline because steroids coming to help him out again. Just saying, just saying. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm very sad about the heavyweight division. That sucks to hear because now it's even doo doo cheeks more. But we're taking Delija. Okay, his hand speed. He can also grapple pretty decently well. He's going to be much faster regardless of the hand speed. And he presses people. He will put pressure on you, and then he won't stop. Sergey does not take shots well. He will cover up a lot. Can't do that as a heavyweight. I think Waldo could have put Sergey out when they were fighting, and I was on Sergey's side, but Sergey just doesn't throw a lot of volume. Sure, he can submit him possibly if he go down to the ground if Ante makes a mistake, but we just think Ante is going to slump him. Give us the Liha.
1,000% big boy. Sorry, JP. I muted my mic in OBS. And I'm over here clearing my throat. I think it's coming through in your headphones while you're
Might be.
talking. My bad. My bad. Yeah, Delija, I think the hand speed is really gonna be what really gives him the advantage. Spivac, he can grapple a little bit. I don't think Delija should go to the ground unless he's just kind of in a dominant position after like, wobbling Spivac and then maybe takes him down to ground and pound. But um Spivac on the feet is just kind of interesting. Like he has moments where he does look kind of good. And then other times it's just like, yeah, you're kind of slow. You're not really throwing with much power. you're a heavyweight. I don't know. It looks a little weird. And Delija, when he throws, I mean, he's powerful. A lot of people don't give him any credit for the Waldo Cortez Acosta fight because of the eye poke, but like, yeah, maybe there was a little bit of an eye poke. Some of those strikes were landing clean, and it ended up stopping the fight, and then they protested and yada yada yada. Anyways, ends up getting slumped by Waldo, but at the end of the day, Dillia is really good. A lot of people think that he can be champion, here in the UFC. I think he has the skill set. We'll see how it really translates against Spivac, but I definitely think we should see a strong showing nonetheless from Delija. So yeah, we're back in the big boy Delija. The other thing too, I was talking to somebody in the live on TikTok the other night. They were talking about athletic heavyweights, right? And Delija is one of them, right? He's an athletic heavyweight. He doesn't come in usually at the 265-pound mark. He's got a good gas tank, like, he's athletic, light on his feet, whereas you see guys like Tai Tuivasa's, like, I don't think that build is gonna cut it in the heavyweight division in 2026. Maybe back in the day when you had your, like, Mark Hunts and all, like, Roy Nelsons, but in 2026, like, it's the year of the light heavyweights. Not the light heavyweights, but the lighter heavyweights in the heavyweight division, the athletic heavyweights, I should say. You gotta be light on your feet, you gotta be explosive, and if you're just kind of a tired slob out there, it's not gonna be good. So, I think Delia fits the mold really well of what a heavyweight in 2026 should be.
Yeah, and it's not like uh Daniel Cormier or like I guess whatever. Some people say John Jones, or Cain Velasquez. Like all these people who were the heavyweight champion when they used to say the baddest man on the planet. And then over half of our heavyweights right now are fat slobs who get tired after one round.
Yeah.
It's not entertaining to watch. It's not impressive. It's none of the above. So yeah, I agree. These athletic heavyweights, it's good to see somebody throw a punch and not get gassed out by
Yeah,
missing.
and that's why Derek Lewis isn't champion. He's a scary dude, he's a big dude, he hits hard, knocks people out, and he's fun to watch. But there's a reason that he's had all these great fights and these top tier opponents, and he's not champion, right? Like, you're just not gonna get there with that style. I don't know. It's interesting to see though, for sure. I mean, I know these guys like Tai Tuivasa, like there's no changing for him,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Like
not at
he's
all.
always gonna be that body type, and that's fine. Also, what is he still doing in the UFC? If we're cutting the Basharat brother off of a victory. Anyways,
Who knows?
all right. That moves us up to the bonus man. Dan 50K Ige taking on Melquizel Costa.
I think the last time we talked about Dan, I was super upset about the Pitbull fight. And if you go back and you watch film, and then you'll watch it again just to double check your findings that there was nothing to watch. Um, yeah, it just really pisses you off all over again. Dan can strike, sure. He's got a decent jab. Um, he's a gangster, all this and that. Fought Diego Lopez on what was it, Brevin, 5 hours notice.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. Dan's okay. His record's 19-10. Pretty booty cheeks. Melquizel Costa, we've seen him multiple times now on the show. We like Melquizel a lot. He can grapple pretty decently well. Although I'm not gonna lie, Brevin will tell you guys, and I think it's funny, because if we do more of like the watch alongs, like the fight companions, if we do more of those or whatever, you guys will get to see how often I do kind of crash out at watching these fights. Because me and Brevin will text like after every round, and we're watching Melquizel fight C-Rod, Christian Rodriguez, and C-Rod hit him with that outside trip. I mean,
100 times.
probably 24 times in the fight. And at one point, he hit him like 4 times in a row with it. And I was like, holy my, bro. If somebody, it blows my mind. It just blows my mind. He kept walking into it, kept walking into it. I'm like, dude, what do you think he's going to do? I don't know. It was pissing me off. But Melquizel can strike a little bit. I think his striking has definitely improved the last couple fights, but he's a submission specialist. He's got a nasty guillotine, nasty choke game, and he can scramble pretty well grappling wise, right? He has a very good submission understanding, and I feel like that leads to a lot of these guys. You see it all the time with these crazy scramble abilities. And Dan Ige at this point to us is just kind of a one trick pony. He's got good stand up, he's got a chin, and he'll rock you. I don't know. Other than that, don't like it. Against Pitbull, we took Dan Ige because before that fight, Pitbull fought against Yair and got the shit kicked out of him because he fought horribly, didn't want to take him down. And then he fights Dan Ige and then takes him down. So Dan Ige didn't show anything, didn't throw anything, nothing. I don't know. We like Melquizel. We're taking Melquizel Costa. Biased, not biased. He's got more ways to win.
Yeah, 1000%. I'm looking forward to seeing another Melquizel Costa performance. I've been high on Costa. That's what a lot of people don't even realize is like once we started doing this show, I've been picking Costa for a long time, and I got a lot of good dog money on Costa along the way. The dude is very skilled. I don't know what people don't see in him, but I see it. Okay. Good submission game, good hands, good kicks. He's explosive and he's got good power. And the other thing too is he's big for this featherweight division. He's 5'10". You know, that's impressive. Um, being 145. Like, I don't know how you get that small, to be honest. But at the end of the day, he doesn't look small when that door closes because he must be cutting a decent amount of weight as well. But I will say, JP, looking at these two guys, looking at some of their prior opponents, it made me think of two guys in particular that I just want to take a brief segment to speak about because we haven't seen them fight in quite some time, and I wonder what they're up to. I would love to see them fight again. Number one, Steve Garcia. Okay. Melquizel Costa fought Steve Garcia. He lost to Steve Garcia. When is Steve Garcia going to fight again? This dude is top tier in this division. Absolute killer. I'm excited to watch Steve Garcia fight again. One of Dan Ige's opponents. Ready for this one, JP? This is a throwback. You haven't seen him fight in a while. Sean
I was
Woodson.
just going to say that, too.
Okay. Where is my boy Sean Woodson? Okay. I I get fired up about those two guys. Sean Woodson, Steve Garcia, they are show favorites, at least for me. I don't know about JP's side. He has his own show favorites, but Sean Woodson, Steve Garcia are my boys. But enough talk about them. Dan Ige, Melquizel Casa, good matchup, but we've got to see more from Dan Ige's side. He just looked hesitant. He looked like he didn't really wanna be there against Pitbull, or maybe the moment was too big. Maybe Pitbull's aura was really just getting in Dan Ige's
God.
head, but he was supposed to be, the old performance of the night. "Oh, Dan, 50K." Brother, I don't know if you earned 5K for that performance. Yeah, it was embarrassing. But yeah, give us Melquizel Costa to get the job done.
His aura. This
I mean,
guy.
he's kind of like he's got the aura, like, he's supposed to be some crazy legend, bro. I don't know about that.
Stop the cap.
Yeah, none of those Bellator guys have had any success in the UFC. Even Pico.
Well, I was going to say, that's the only one that I'll like chalk up to. He just ran into a fucking
He just got outclassed. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, Lerone. Wow. I bounced a vape off my wife's forehead because that shit was so
That
crazy.
night. Yes, you did.
All right. Moving up. This should be a good one. The co-main event of the evening. Jeff Neal. Speaking about bouncing the vape off my wife's forehead, this was the first fight that it almost happened with because Carlos Prates hit a spinning KO on him with his elbow. Jeff Neal
No.
returns to face Uros Medic.
You can't be sitting here and saying that it almost happened. It did happen. This happened twice.
Well, the first one, it bounced
JP
off the
threw the
wall.
vape.
It bounced off the wall.
And then hit her. The second one, I think, directly bounced off her forehead.
Yeah, hit her right
So-
square between the eyes.
We're now buying her a custom helmet to wear during the UFC fights. JP's known to throw things. He gets in front of the television screen. It's just an interesting time. Anyways, good co-main event. All right. I was talking about some of my show favorites, Sean Woodson, Steve Garcia. I will tell you, Euros Medic, the doctor, has been up there on my list. I really like his style. He's got good power. He finishes all of his fights in the first round. He gets after it early and often, and I like those guys. The guys that can take the fight to their opponent. Okay. Jeff Neal, really good boxing. He's got a good shell. He's very defensively sound, and then he counters very well, and he carries good power, right? And JP and I were talking before the show. We were talking about the Carlos Prates fight that we watched together. To the guy, right? Carlos Prates is an absolute killer. All right. And I thought he was fighting decent until he got absolutely starched, and that's okay. And I hope that that loss doesn't really change his style because he does fight a really good fight when he's in his flow state. And I think for a lot of these guys, like Jeff Neal, I don't want to call him a gatekeeper, but at the end of the day, that's kind of like what he does. He really just takes out some of the fire from some of these up and coming surging fighters that are trying to push their way inside of either the top 15 or make it inside of the top 10 of the welterweight division, right? And I think in this one, we're going to see that. Jeff Neal, look for him to be able to counter Medic quite well. Medic does a really terrible job about his being defensively sound on his end. He oftentimes moves straight back with his chin up in the air, and we've seen that in a lot of his recent fights. He's getting caught, and he's getting caught early. And yes, he's landing big shots, but when you're getting caught by Jeff Neal can also put your lights out. And that's what we think is going to happen in this matchup. So give us Jeff Neal to get the job done. Medic has some defensive stuff to clean up before he can really put his game all together to fight some of these top guys. Yeah, Jeff Neal's going to get it done.
100%, dude. 100%. I mean, if you watch the Punahele fight, talked about Puna earlier, his stand up, his power. Uro's fast, slick, in and out, leg kicks, 1-2s, boom, boom. And then he, on like his way out, like Brevin's saying, his hands go wide as he's sliding straight back and he's leaning with his head. Boom, put one right on the chin, out. You're already sliding backwards, so your momentum's taking you back. You get hit on the chin. Now you're lost. Your head's bouncing off the cage. I don't like it. I don't like it. You got to keep your hands up. You got to cut angles. You can't just keep sliding back. The Gilbert Urbina fight. Oh, but he slumped Gilbert Urbina. Yeah, because Gilbert fumbled. Gilbert should have finished him. He clipped him bad. Folded him like a lawn chair. And then Gilbert sucks, so he folds, right? Or he sells. And then he knocks out Muslim. The reason I talked about Muslim looking different outside the U.S., just saying, okay? Or maybe he's 40. Feel the way you want to feel. But Jeff Neal gives Vicente Luque a brain bleed. Oh, he's the dude. He's disgusting. Then gets choked out by Shavkat after cutting up Shavkat, right? Shavkat, Mr. I'm always hurt. I don't want to fight Rachmanov. Okay? And then Ian Gary split decision. Everybody was shitting on Ian Gary. You fought like a pussy. Jeff beat your ass. So everybody's still high on Jeff, right? And then he actually beats Rafael dos Anjos. But then for some reason, oh, he's old. He got hurt. Who cares? And then he got slumped by Carlos Prates, and now everybody's like, Jeff sucks. What do you mean? His stand-up is still disgusting. Ian Gary was tiptoeing around him. Had to take him down. Same thing with the Michael Page fight. Ian Gary just showed he's a mixed martial artist. Jeff Neal on the feet is disgusting. Uros Medic is not going to take him down. Not going to grapple him. And if he goes straight back, look out for Neal to put his lights out. Give us Neal.
I think one of the things that we didn't mention, JP, that we really need to touch on is the reach from Jeff Neal. The dude's only 5'11". Uros Medic is 6'1". Jeff Neal has a 4-inch reach advantage. He's got very long arms, and that's what makes him such a good counter striker, okay? And if Medic is moving straight back, he thinks he's going to be out of range, and Jeff Neal is going to be able to touch him, and that's just going to be problematic. With such long arms, I mean, that's what makes you such a good striker.
Oh, 100%. And especially on the end, like you're saying, the end of your punches where he's sliding out, moving his head. That's a recipe for disaster, dude.
Yeah, 1000%. All right, that takes us up to the main event of the evening. Sean Strickland is taking on Anthony Fluffy Hernandez.
Sean Strickland's got to be the most out of pocket controversial person in the UFC. Like I know people say they don't like Colby Covington, and he says crazy shit. Sean is out there on streams with Aiden Ross and all these people saying some wild stuff. um, and Sean, I don't know. I mean, I know watching sparring footage of him and Pereira, I think it was Michel Pereira, that is, and they're just slanging, throwing wild shit. Sean's always sparring these TikTokers, these YouTubers, and just trying to kill them. But Sean's main style is he's gonna walk forward. He's gonna use the Philly shell, a lot of hand movement to parry you. Um, he throws straight and he'll throw volume. He'll throw a lot of teep kicks. He'll throw a lot of jabs. But he's not really known for his power, right? Everybody said, well, he clipped Izzy. Yeah. Okay. It don't really matter. Izzy recovered pretty quick. It was just a great straight punch. That's what happens when you throw straight punches and they land clean on the chin. They turn people's head. But the biggest thing in this fight is if we want to talk about anybody being on a tear, it's Fluffy. His run right now has been crazy. Okay, he beat the shit out of Michel Pereira, right? Beats Edmund 5 years ago. KOs Edmund Shabazin. Feel the way you want to feel about that. Then he submits Kopylov. Okay, Kopylov more of a striker, good kicker, whatever. Beats the shit, like I said, out of Michel Pereira. I think that was the first time we saw Fluffy, or we talked about Fluffy on the show when we started the show. Then Brendan Allen. Everybody sees Brendan Allen's stock right now. Beat him by unanimous decision. He's out grappling Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen's a damn good grappler. And then me and Brevin were talking about it before we started filming. I was on the Delija side because I thought Roman's big, strong. There's no way Fluffy just ragdolls him. He might break him, but it's hard for me to see. Boy, did he. He did another Michel Pereira performance and beat the shit out of Roman Delija. He walks forward. He will put volume on you. He will put little strikes on you where he's not trying to knock you out with one big shot. He's just going to hit you a fuck ton. And then when you cut an angle and go backwards, he's going to turn right back around, walk straight across the cage and do it again. Then he's going to change levels, beat you up. The moment you think you're getting up, he's going to grab your wrist on the far side, pull it back, grab your ankle, boom, you're right back down, beat you up. Go to the stool, sit down, come back out, do the exact same thing. For all 25 minutes, you're going to have to deal with this dude walking you down in your face. I will say the same thing I said in the Michel Pereira fight, and he did hurt him. Fluffy's kind of soft to the body. We've seen it a couple times in his career. Sean Strickland loves to throw those teeps. Okay, you guys can ask Brevin how the teep feels. We'll see how Fluffy takes him. But it's kind of hard to throw a teep when you're going backwards the whole fucking time. And I think Anthony Hernandez is going to put Sean Strickland on the back foot. And we saw Drickus do it to him, and Sean does not fight well. We're taking Anthony Hernandez.
Yeah. The only thing I'm trying to read right now, um, the only thing I'm concerned about is the injuries, right? Obviously, there was an injury, pretty bad injury that pulled him out of the RDR fight. Um, he's had hand injuries in the past. He's had a lot of canceled bouts. Now, a lot of them not necessarily um due to Anthony's side. I think there's a little bit of both. There's a lot of injuries that take place, but there's also a lot of people that are withdrawing from their scheduled fights with him because I feel like they're either scared to fight him. The UFC has rebooked a few fights. Like he was supposed to fight Drickus, that got rescheduled, but then never happened. It looks like reading now that there was like an abdominal, excuse me, or oblique tear, muscle tear that caused him to pull out of the RDR fight. Could that potentially, mess with him even more if he's getting hit to the body? Is he fully recovered? Like those are the things that I worry about um from the Anthony Hernandez side, but from a pure like style and fight game plan, this has Anthony Hernandez written all over it. Sean, he just kind of throws the jab, throws the teeps, like JP was saying, Anthony Hernandez is going to have him on the back foot. He's going to look to take him down. He's going to look to wrestle, and he's going to break you. He breaks grown men. That's what he does. And if you saw his performance in the Roman Delije matchup, it was a masterclass of I will make you not want to fight. He's got a gas tank that will go for days. Hopefully the injury, hasn't prevented him from getting the cardio in and all that stuff. I hope he's like 100%. And if he is, we should see a masterclass performance again. I think Anthony Hernandez is going to make a very strong push for the title in this division, and Sean Strickland's just going to be in the way. Give us Anthony Fluffy Hernandez to get the job done.
And I know Sean, I believe he's never been submitted, right? No. So, like, I get it. I mean, just because you've never been submitted doesn't mean you can't. So, and Fluffy, like you're saying, I mean, every time we see him go out there and he's got a good camp and he's not hurt, he makes people not want to be there. I mean, the gas tank and then in your face, it is a bitch to deal with, dude.
Yeah, 1,000%. That does it for the card, guys. It doesn't do it for the show. Don't go anywhere. We have your free show parlays. Mind you, last card, every single one of them hit, including the juicer, the one that always gets away, usually by one fight, but it is live, ladies and gentlemen. So stick around for that, which we'll do right now, starting with Lock Door MMA's lock of the night. JP, tell the people who we are locking up.
There were a couple options, but every other option had a red flag that we kind of make a rule for us as the things we've learned throughout doing the show. So we're taking the one guy that we feel like Revan just said the game plan is written for him. Anthony Hernandez is going to be our lock this weekend. We feel like he's just got more ways to win than Sean. I'm going to teep you, Strickland. Give us Fluffy.
Give us Fluffy for sure. And that takes us to Brevin's basic. JP, I think I'm undefeated for the year on the basic. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I have a perfect record on the basic for the year, and we're going to keep that going. Starting with my lock, our lock, Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. He's going to get the job done. And then we're going to move to the big boys because you guys know I got to show him some love. Ante Delija to get it done. I think he beats up Spivac. And then some of the small guys, they got to get some love too. Give me Jacoby Smith to get it done, taking on the UFC newcomer. I believe that is going to be a good matchup for him.
Hey now. Oh, interesting. I didn't think you were going to go that direction. Interesting. All right. Can we do it? Can we go back to back? All right. Is that who we are? Is that what we're about? And like Brevin said, I'm not gonna lie, guys, it got tough there. I got real sick and tired of losing this goddamn juicer by one fucking leg every weekend. It was killing me. It was driving me crazy. But last weekend, we felt great about it. It schmacked. This weekend, feeling pretty good about it. And it's gonna schmack. Sit down, shut up, let's do it. The lock, Fluffy Hernandez, you knew it. Lock is a lock for a reason. I say it every single weekend. Next is Jeff Neal. Uros Medic. Going straight backwards, you're going to have to cut angles, brother. You're going to have to cut angles and hope he does not land, because if he does, he's putting you to bed. We're following Brevin. We're going to Delija. He's going to bed, okay? Unless he hits some home run submission, which he won't. He's going to be rolling around like a roly-poly, trying to get away. He's getting slumped. Our first dog is going to be Chidi Bang Bang Njokuani. Carlos Leal just throws from the hip too much, dude. And Chidi's Muay Thai, like I said, if you're a Muay Thai fan, if you want to get into kickboxing, Muay Thai, watch Chidi and literally try to copy what he does. It is picture perfect. Next dog, I don't care. We hope that the ballerina himself is going to get O'Dayed on Saturday night. Give us O'Day Osbourne, okay? You're not out O'Daying O'Day. Give me O'Day. I'm tired of saying O'Day. And the final one, third dog. We have 4 dogs on the card. We left one of them out for certain reasons, obvious reasons, I feel like. But the final dog, 6th leg, Punahele Soriano. We're taking Puna over Reese. Ramirez is going to look for that one home run guillotine. I don't think he's going to get it. Give us Puna 6 legs. It's juice, baby.
Let's choose. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. If you've made it this far, make sure you are hitting the like button to help the boys out. Let us know in the comments if you agree or disagree with any of the show parlays. And if you are not subscribed, make sure to smack that subscribe button right now so you don't miss out on the best UFC predictions every single weekend. We appreciate you as always. And with that, JP, I'll let you take it away.
Hey, 9 weeks. 9 weeks straight. We are locked in. We are excited. The football's been done for a little bit. It'll be a while. We'll probably lock in here soon on our little dynasty league. We'll let you guys know how that goes. Keep that up. But other than that, guys, 9 weeks, another weekend, another set of fights, and hopefully everybody had a great Valentine's Day. I know I did. Sounds like Brevin did. But we got fights. Fights are back, and we love it. Another weekend, another set of fights, ladies and gentlemen. As always, it was a pleasure. Bingo, bango, baby. Hey.